Blog Talk
We're
Radio.
on the air, please. Hi, this is Cherokee Billie, and thank you for joining me on the Sacred Path radio program. And we're here today to talk about expanding the flame of love within you. And I'm waiting on my friend Ray to come in, as I'm under the weather. I've got the flu, putting it mildly, and I don't think I can talk as much as normal. But what we're talking about is divine love, spiritual love that can bring in the love that you're looking for. And Ray, hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Well, are you ready to talk?
I'm ready to talk as much as you did, as much as I can.
All right. Well, I was just making a brief thing about, love. And love isn't just about finding the right romance. It's about love within, and that's a critical thing. Also, you've got the Archangel of Love. Shamul is the name. Who, I always tell people, pray and ask him to bring the right person into your life. But you want to talk on any of this, Ray? I'd sure appreciate it.
Well, yeah, sure, not a problem. If you don't have, you got to, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, you got to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you don't like yourself, then nobody else is, you're not going to find nothing. You need to find
That's
yourself. You need to love yourself. And I'm not talking about being uppity. I'm just talking about like who you are, like yourself, love yourself before you could even love anybody or anything else. And like you
that's
just
very,
said,
wait, 1 minute here, Ray. That's so true. And if you ask people and they're serious, do you really like yourself? You'll often get the response of no. And, we're not perfect, none of us. And we got good and we got bad. Forgive yourself for the bad and learn to love the parts of you that are lovable. We'll put it that way. Go ahead, Ray.
okay. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't love yourself, you don't like yourself, you're never going to have you're not going to make anybody else happy. You're not going to, I mean, even if it's, and I always use horses because me and the horses, we like each other. Even the horses, or dogs or any animal, they could tell. I always say that if a dog likes you, if you're a good person, the dog is going to, or a horse or any animal is going to know it. So yeah, like I said, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to make anybody else happy. And like you said, you make mistakes. Excuse me, mistakes happen. I made two big mistakes, and well, really three big mistakes. Two of them were bad, but But anyhow, that's not what we're here to talk about. You got to love yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You try to make as little mistakes as possible. But
Pardon me,
yeah,
me and my cough. But if an animal, think about what you said, Ray. If an animal loves you, there is something lovable about you. I don't care who you are. You may feel there's nothing about you to love. But if that was true, an animal would never love you. They see the good and the possibilities that others cannot see. They are psychic. They are mystic. They see what you are.
Exactly. I know. I've worked with once again horses where people people just that horse is crazy. I don't like them. But what they don't understand is you got to look at what they're doing and everything else. I worked with one horse that he had, they were getting ready to put him down because he had stomped people. He had stomped a person, and what happened? I was taking him down. I was bringing him up. I fell. So instead of the horse stepping on me, he went around the other way and basically was pulling to try to get me back up on my feet. And if the horse, like I said, didn't love me, didn't like me, he would have stepped on me. But I mean, it's
But he
like
was
you
very
said,
healthy.
yeah, the animals know as a rule. I mean, you're always going to have exceptions, just like people. Uh, you know, and that's something else while I'm thinking about it. People, they want to go into a relationship. However, they don't want to work on it. You got to work on a relationship.
Or the other person doesn't want to work on it. And yet the
Yeah,
person wanting the love doesn't see the other one isn't wanting to work on it. You both have to work together in a romance. In any partnership like that, it's got to be 50-50.
exactly. And what people don't understand is one people, one person will want it, and they're working, and the other one just says, oh well. And I was in a relationship like that for a long time, which, but anyhow, you got to work on it, like you said. It's a 50-50 thing. One person can't do everything, and nor should, as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong, but nor should a person have to do everything. They should do a 50-50 sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Because you may look at it one way, and then they say, well, you know what, that's not really the way it should be. It should be like this. And then you think about it, you know what, you're right. So it should be a 50-50 thing where people are working on things. But once
Yes.
again, if you don't love yourself, you don't have a shot of anything.
And if you truly love yourself, you're going to recognize if someone has the ability to love you equally or not. Many times people fool themselves, I say. They kid themselves that, oh yeah, he'll change or she'll change. And no, what you have seen that is evidence to you that this person doesn't have the love capability is the truth. So, they disregard their intuition is my key. And remember, love comes in so many different forms. I know people think romantic love's the ultimate high in love, but I think that like a love between a parent and their child is very heavy, or a love of a child for a parent. I think that is just as important as any other love.
I agree. And there's too much where people just, they either want to play games or whatever, but the true love is is what helps. It makes you happy, makes
Hmm.
you a better person, out of a lack of word to use. And once you're happy and everything else, then you're a better person. You could open your eyes, you could see exactly what's going on. But also, like they say, love is blind. It just because,
Unfortunately, it can be.
yeah, when you look at somebody, oh yeah, I love that person, and you may love them, and they may say, I love you back, but if you got to look at them, and they may be so full of takabachi, that it's not funny. Nobody
And
understood that, I
one
know.
thing, I hope they do. Love is kind of uncontrollable. And if you have, let's say, love for humanity, that's one of the greatest loves you could have, to love people in this world when, it's a crazy, messed up world. People are way over the edge. So if you can find that within your soul to love them, you've got something really unique within you, because that love will never die. It may uh, decrease a bit, but it will always come back, because that is true love. And I mentioned, the Archangel of Love, Shamuel. I have an article on my website about this angel, and you can look it up and learn a little more. Because not only am I asking for a romantic love, but for love of yourself, or love, let's say, for a parent or a child that hasn't been very lovable. That's where this archangel comes in.
Well, if everybody would think, and I'm not talking about um, anything in general, If everybody would worry about, and I don't want to say worry, but everybody would look at the good and the love that the individual has for, has, uh, there wouldn't be as many wars. There wouldn't be any wars. People would be helping each other. It's like you going down the
Right.
road and you see you see a woman with a flat tire or a guy with a flat tire. You get on it and, you help her change it, or that doesn't mean that you're falling in love with the woman. It just means that you got the love for humanity that goes on from there.
And one important thing that is very hard for people to grasp is that if you have the light of God within you, that makes you a light worker, whether you're doing anything spiritual or not. When you've got that in you, it's there. And unfortunately, you're going to get attacked more than the average person because the demonic forces are always out there trying to take down light workers any way they can. And you're going to find some crazy things will happen. But it's still, love never dies. God is love. And if he's within you, you know that he will take care of you ultimately, no matter what the situation is.
Exactly. It's once again, you got to love yourself in order to be able to do other things. If everybody would, like I said, would love themselves and love to do stuff right, there wouldn't be so many wars around the whole planet. People would be helping each other, just growing crops or whatever the case may be. But there wouldn't be so many wars. And let's face it, in a war, nobody wins. Even though they say this is a winner, nobody wins. Everybody loses in a war.
That is very true. And there's so many wars all over the world right now. So there's a lot of things being lost. And again, the people who have the light, the love of God in them are being bombarded in those particular areas more than most.
And they would be because, there's so much hate and discontent where people just don't realize, unless if they've been in a situation, they just don't realize, that you end up hating somebody for whatever reason. And if you would actually not necessarily, love them, they would go along and things would get better instead of just, there's this guy, or I don't like him because he's wearing brown shoes, so I'm going to kill him. I mean, that's stupid. But there's so much of that going on in the world. But once again, if you would love yourself, and you would love humanity.
Let me give a little example of something people can do to bring in the love vibration more, is to take like 5 minutes a day and just spend that time with the word love. Just focus on that word love and just see what you can get. You can even chant the word love and feel the vibration of love. That would be really good, to say the word love and let it go through you. And if you did this every day for 5 minutes a day, I think the changes would astound you. I know that there's my favorite chant is the word I can't do it because of my congestion, but A-U-M, which is God. And boy, when you do that for a few minutes, you really feel a difference. Same for doing it with love. Chanting is incredibly powering, and that's something people overlook.
I agree. And I mean, really, people should spend at least 5 minutes of peace and quiet, and it helps, to think about how the day went, how the Creator has helped you during the day, or at night, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, at least 5 minutes a day is peace and quiet, nobody talking, you're not talking. Even if you just let everything go out of you, a lot of the bad would go along with everything else.
because you're tapping into the divine love, not this earthly thing of, oh, I love them and I can't live without them. Forget all those emotions and just focus on that word love. What does it mean? I want to quote a verse out of the Bible here. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. It always protects, always trusts, always shares, always perseveres, always perseveres. Love never fails. And that says it pretty plainly right there. And love
Right.
is all, and love is within you. Remember, love is all, and love is within you. Even if you don't feel it, you can spark the flames. And again, I'm talking about divine love, not so much about love with
Physical
a
love.
male or female. Yeah, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, the physical love. I mean, that's all well and good. I understand that, but there's more to it than just physical love. Uh, you have to get the love. You should get the love. Let's put it that way, from the Creator, which is more than any physical love can ever produce. It's and so many people in today's world, anyhow, they get married, they get divorced. They're married and divorced like 5, 6, 7 times. They're not really being true to themselves, and I often wonder if they actually love themselves. So,
More than
you know,
likely they don't. But if you
yeah,
can tell someone, often if you tell someone that they really aren't loving themselves, they'll get angry and fight you over that. So it's kind of a tricky thing with people. You can't tell them so much. But, God is love, and he's within all of us. And there is the spark of love in you, whether you feel it or not, because love is you. Love is you, plain and simple.
right. If you gotta, once again, there's that old cliche: you gotta love yourself before you can love anybody or anything else. Me, I love my cat. Right now, I got 2 cats. I love my one cat more than the other cats, but I love my cat more than a lot of people I know. Simply because my cat shows me love, and I mean, just laying on my lap and me petting him. But I mean, a lot of people, they have the misconception of what love is all about. And once again, when if they take that 5 minutes to have peace and quiet and learn, listen, they will find out what love is really all about.
It's true, and animals are the best examples of love. They show it unconditionally. I mean, they're just wonderful with love. And remember, again, animals are the closest thing to God. So they're an example of what God's love and light is. And animals, like your pets, they see you in the good times, they see you in the bad times, and yet they still love you.
Right, right. And they know when you're hurting. They know when you're happy. They know you. Like you said, they love you. Whether it be, whatever kind of animal it may be.
Exactly. I mean, it can be animals that you don't think would have a lot of emotion, and yet they do. People would be surprised. Most people, their pets are dogs or cats, but there's so many animals, and you'd be amazed at those that can love.
Exactly. But animals that I used to take care of Rottweilers, and everybody, oh, that dog's really mean. Don't worry. But the dog loved me to death. He would come up and lick my face where everybody else would be showing his teeth at. So they also, like you said before, like we said before, they have a way of determining, whether somebody's good, bad, whatever the case may be. When I had my
They
dog,
know
if
it.
the dog, Yeah, if the dog didn't like somebody, I looked at that person in a whole different light. Like, why is this dog not liking this individual? But
Yeah, because you knew there was a deeper reason.
yeah, a reason I
Well,
may not have seen. Go
I
ahead.
think animals are far better psychics and intuitives than humans, and they can tell in a minute if they like someone or not. From my own past to my own life. When I was younger, I didn't care for cats, okay? Didn't. And I had a girlfriend who had several cats. And when I'd go over, those cats were all over me. They wouldn't leave me alone, rubbing my legs, wanting to be in my lap. Here I am not liking cats. Well, eventually I did get a cat and found out I really loved them. But see, those cats knew who I was even when I didn't. They knew.
Well, it's like you said, the animals will know if they didn't like you, or if they thought there was something the matter, like you were evil or something, they wouldn't have come around you. They would have hurry up and ran. But
Oh, yeah, but these
you
cats were just like desperate to love on me, and here I am freaking out over it. It was funny. At the
yeah,
time, when you look back at parts of your life, you can laugh at some of
oh
the
yeah,
weird, crazy things you've done or felt or seen or whatever. But love,
absolutely.
there's a great saying I once heard that love loves the unlovely and sees the good and possibilities that others cannot see. And that's real love.
Absolutely.
That's the
And
love
it
of
doesn't have
God.
to,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
It doesn't have to be physical love. It's a love, basically it's a love of God. It's like you said, animals, they distinctively have that sixth sense to know, hey, you know what, this guy's good, this person's bad, that person's good.
Hmm. Yeah, and they do know it. And that's what's so wonderful about animals. There's a million reasons to bring up how wonderful animals are, but their intuition and instincts are far better than the human. We have to work hard at having instincts and being psychic or within ourselves. I'm not talking about doing readings. I'm talking about being your own psychic. And I do have a audio class available, and it's how to increase the psychic self. And it's a real inexpensive class, but you will learn a great deal. So you might want to check out some of my classes on my website, Cherokee Billie, spiritualadvisor.com.
I have taken, as you know, Billy, I've taken most of your class, not all your classes, and they have taught me a lot about a lot of stuff. They taught me stuff that I already knew, but I just needed to bring it forward in my mind.
Right. And to have an understanding and how to work with different energies of yourself, learning that. It's something people don't think about. All of us have energy, or we wouldn't
Absolutely,
be alive.
absolutely. And we were talking about um, people working on their love, a relationship of 50-50. And that's, the problem is right now, so many people getting divorced or whatever the case may be. And it's not a 50-50 thing. Well, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's not all about that. It's about working at it 50-50 and going from there. So,
Some people can separate and still be kind to one another, and others can't. It just depends.
well,
What everybody's different. Every relationship is different. I have been married in the past, but I found marriage didn't work very well for me. And it was probably I never met the right person, but I don't feel any regrets. I had enough love in my life to say, hey, that was okay. And the
well,
best love I had was my parents. No two ways around it.
I think the best love I had was my mom. Maybe my dad, but I really didn't know him. But my mom, she was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, maybe I was the best thing that ever happened to her. But
Pretty much. But
yeah, I
it's
mean,
that love of a parent and a parent to the child is an incredible love. Very powerful. And you lost your mother quite young. Both of my parents,
yes.
oh, I lost not as young as you, but I was young and they were both gone. And believe me, without them, you really miss them.
And a lot of times you really struggle, and you try to talk to them, and sometimes you get answers, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, it's kind of, forgive your parents. We'll put it this way. If you have any feelings that aren't all love, forgive them. They're doing the best they can. And, nobody's perfect. So please have love and understanding. One of the things I've had to work on since my mother passed was understanding her and forgiving her because it wasn't a good relationship. And I've really learned a lot about her through meditation, being shown what she went through. I broke down and crying hysterically one day because I was shown in this meditation what she went through early in her life, and it showed me what made her become who she was, and it just broke me, and it helped me with my healing, and that was what was important.
And
And
with
that's
me, go ahead.
no, nothing really.
Uh, and with me, uh, not necessarily my mom, but other people, I forgive them. And I look at it this way: with the love I have, I forgive them. I may not want to be around them anymore, but I forgive
But you
them.
forgive them, right?
Yeah. And if you don't forgive
And
them, you don't. Go ahead.
that's real love, to forgive, and it doesn't mean you're going to be buddy-buddy with someone, but to honestly and truly forgive. Very important.
Exactly. And that shows the love that you have just for mankind, out of a lack of word to use. Not only just for that person, but for mankind.
Yes,
So,
and
if you,
we do need to show a little kindness to one another.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
all, just a little.
it's easy to be a jerk, but
Oh, yeah,
it takes a lot to actually care about somebody, to love somebody. Once again, not anything. Just, hey, you know what? I like you, uh, and go from there. But yeah,
right.
it's the love that you have to have love in life, or else you're going to have one miserable life.
Correct.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, without love, you are nothing. And that doesn't mean about romantic love. It's, again, the love within you, the love of God within you, any of those things. Now we're coming up to the last part. Any final thoughts, Ray?
Just spend time by yourself. At least five. Try to get at least 5 minutes a day, and try to love yourself. You got to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
That's it. And love always finds a way, and it will get you through to a brighter day. So keep that in mind to anyone listening to that. And I wish you all a blessed and beautiful, lovely Valentine's. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.